There I was, buck naked, floating in the inky black Caribbean Sea at night, facing a decision I did not want to make. Fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests, when I was 18 years old, I moved back to St. John after having lived there as a child. I spent 9 long, cold years in Vermont, and I moved back to St. John. And it was there that I met Ray. Do you know Ray? We all know Ray. Ray's one of those guys that always says, "Hey Jeff, here's a good idea." Oh, Ray. This one sounded good, though. He came to me one afternoon and said, "Hey Jeff, here's an idea." "Oh, what now?" He says, "In Cruz Bay, there's this big, beautiful boat, and it's leaving just before sunset, and on that boat, there will be booze, and there will be women, and it's free. And friends, if there's 3 things I like best in this world, is booze, and women, and free." He was not lying about how beautiful this boat was, a huge 65-foot catamaran, packed to the gills with booze and women. And I said, "This will be fun." And off we sailed into the beautiful Caribbean, the sun melting into the ocean in that pink and orange that blasted across the sky and just blew our minds at how gorgeous it was. And it wasn't much later that we anchored the boat. After the sun had finally set, the boat dropped anchor on an uninhabited island in an uninhabited bay. And there we were, relaxing, drinking, talking, chatting. I was on the bow of the boat, fairly dark up there, and I heard a splash. And I looked over the edge, and someone had jumped in the water. And as I turned back, people were taking their clothes off and jumping in the water. Well, I thought I've had just about enough booze to make that happen, and there I did. I stripped down, and I jumped into that beautiful, warm Caribbean Sea. And as I splashed into the water and I could move my hand through, I'd see the blue and green sparkles of the phosphorescence. And as I laid on my back and looked up at the sky, the velvet darkness of that sky with the pinpoints of light that filled the entire sky. There was no light pollution there to ruin that. I floated about for quite a long time and enjoyed myself immensely. And it wasn't long that I noticed there were fewer and fewer people in the water with me. And I thought, well, I could use a drink. Maybe it's time to get out. And I watched the other people get out. Now, I didn't know this, but apparently all the other people on the boat are members of Cirque du Soleil, because they were climbing up the anchor line, doing some sort of backflip to get onto the boat. I said, how hard could this be? I'm here to tell you, it's hard. I climbed that anchor rope and I got about halfway, splash, back in the water. I said, well, I'll try it again. Maybe I just did it wrong. And I moved this way and I climbed up that anchor rope again, just nearing the top of the boat, and boom, I was back in the water again. This is the point where we started this story. There I was, buck naked, floating, thinking I have 2 choices here. Choice number 1 is swim to the uninhabited island. Live there like Robinson Crusoe until someone comes and rescues me. Option number 2, swim around to the stern end of the boat, get hold of the ladder and climb up, and simply walk to my clothes located way over there. My clothes were safe. I was not, for between me and my safety of clothing was the cockpit of the boat. And here all the nice people were sipping their cocktails in the light. I hung on the back of that ladder. I just hung on that ladder and I'd look over and they were not looking away. I was hoping for maybe a meteor shower, an asteroid or something over there. And I could make my way, and I realized that time's a ticking. They're going to pull the anchor up and I will be left behind. I drew a deep breath. I got hold of that ladder and I climbed up onto the deck. And as I passed by the cockpit, there's my friend Ray, sipping a cocktail and laughing. And I said, hey, how are you? Good to see you. Great party? Having fun? I'll take another beer, and made it to my clothing. It wasn't but a few seconds later that Ray came over to the bow of the boat and said, Jeff, what are you doing? I said, well, I was swimming. And then I got stuck out there, and then I had to climb up the ladder, and I had to come back here. And he says, you know that over here on this side, there's another ladder that comes right up. Really, Ray? Where were you 5 minutes ago, pal? You know? I did survive that adventure. And the moral of the story is, jump in with both feet every single time, but check where the ladder is before you get out. Adam does matter.